was very interested in how you use yoga to help people live in the moment. Can you tell us more about that, please?
Absolutely. So I practice Ashtanga Yoga, and Ashtanga is very different. It is a self-led style yoga. And it was the very first time that I went into a yoga room that I was expected to memorize a sequence. And I was, okay, this is different. And my experience with Ashtanga, specifically Mysore style, which is the self-led style, because you can also go to a led Ashtanga class, right? But the Mysore or the self-led style, that was really such a game changer for me. So in a Mysore room, there's no music and there's no mirrors. And what that does is it allows you to really tap inward. The music for me can be quite triggering. I can be a ball baby, especially when it's that time of the month. And if there's really sad or soft, flowy music, sometimes that can invoke a lot of emotion. And is that what I'm trying to do? Sometimes that can be very lovely. But when it comes to like really trying to heal from trauma, from addiction, from anxiety, depression, right? Like this practice of being able to or being forced to really focus inward, especially with taking out the mirrors. There's no mirrors. So I'm not sitting there staring at my body. Oh, what's that lump? Or being distracted, right? The music can be a distraction. The mirror can be a distraction. And so in a Mysore room, so there's no mirrors, there's no music. And as a beginner, you're given a sheet and it shows you like all these postures, and you learn the first line, which is the sun salutations or the Surya Namaskara A's, right? And, they teach you how to inhale through your nose and, sweep up your arms and then exhale as you sweep down. And so you're combining this breath with movement. And, really, because it was the first time that I was ever taught that my focal point needed to be here. Because as soon as you close your eyes, you can get really lost in thought and you're like, start to worry. Oh, I wonder what my kid's doing. Or, oh, I wonder what, oh, I'm thinking about dinner. But as soon as you open your eyes and you look at this point, you're very focused and you're very present and you're not necessarily thinking about dinner time, right?
Hmm.
And so you're not encouraged to close your eyes. You're very much encouraged to have your drishti or your gazing point, which a lot of times is down the bridge of the nose, like right here, don't not necessarily crossing your eyes, or to your fingertips or your thumbs. And so it gives you this thing to look at. And so your visual, your eyes are busy. And then also your ears are busy because you're listening to the sound of your breath and you're creating this oceanic wave-like sound because you're inhaling with sound and exhaling with sound, right? So you're very focused. So you get in that room and you're like, okay, what am I doing? All right, this is the posture I'm doing. Okay, breathing. Okay, where am I looking? And so because you're memorizing and your mind is very busy, it really, for me, is such like a true meditation. It's a moving meditation because by the end of it, I get into Shavasana, I get into rest, and my mind is clear. My mind is calm, right? And yeah. Anyway, let's see. Anything else I can say about that?
It's really interesting because a lot of people can't meditate, or if they start to meditate, then intrusive thoughts come in. If they're moving, it really helps them. And I found that it, it is really helpful,
Yeah, the
really helpful.
movement is super helpful. But then for me, because I had CPTS or have suffered from CPTSD, I have an abundance of like negative thoughts, right? I'm worried. And the only thing that really got me out of my head was like going into a Mysore room and, all right, I got to focus on this yoga posture. And okay, I got to focus
Yeah.
on my breath. And I'm memorizing what I'm doing, right? So I'm not lost in thought at all. And I really loved that because in a led yoga class, it's very easy to close your eyes and get lost in thought. And then you open
Hmm.
your eyes, you're like, wait, what are we doing? And you look to your neighbor and you're like, where are we at? And then you're like, okay, this here where we're at, right? And really, the beauty about like true yoga, it's not necessarily the postures or what postures you can do. It's all about the flow, the
Yeah,
meditative flow, finding the flow of breath, finding the flow of movement. And then once you do memorize it, it becomes a really beautiful muscle memory. And then you can really get into this very absorbed state of meditation. It's really beautiful. And this is the Ashtanga Mysore practice is the only practice that really offered me that like true ability to develop mindfulness.
very good. Wonderful. Wonderful. So I understand you specialize in yoga classes for women. Do you offer these online? Do you offer them one-to-one? Do you offer them in groups?
So I have a YouTube channel where I have yoga classes on there. My channel is Mandi Gardner, and I'm at Holistic Evolution Shala. But if you just look up Mandi Gardner, that's my YouTube channel. But I offer Ashtanga classes on there. I do have a 30-minute Ashtanga class, which just is the shortest version of the sequence. And then I also have the full primary series on there. And those are more energizing. They start with sun salutations. You are going to get a little bit sweaty. You are going to have a workout a little bit. And then I also, it's coming up this Saturday. I'm going to be posting a soft and slow. It's a trauma-informed yoga flow for stress and anxiety. So it is my intention to have a wide variety of yoga flows depending on the person and what their preferences are. But as an Ashtangi, I definitely have a lot of Ashtanga yoga in there. But yeah, and then you can find me, let's see. I do have a coaching program, and that's where I teach Ashtanga Yoga, the primary series, in a live setting. It's a coaching program that's all set up online, and then we support it with weekly live learning sessions. And then you can also hire me one-on-one if that's something that you're interested in. And you can find me at holisticevolutionshala.com.
Wonderful. So finally, what motivational advice do you have to people on their healing journey?
I think you touched on it. Have a little grace, have a little compassion with yourself. I would really love to encourage the people who have either listened or watched today to check out my Daily Calm Practice Workbook. It is 4 steps, and the workbook is something I've put a lot of heart and soul into, and it's something I really believe in. It's my proprietary method. It's the system that I have come up with, developed, that has helped me to overcome the symptoms of trauma and addiction and alcoholism. And so I've created a little workbook. My approach is not to dig into the weeds of where this stuff came from.
Yeah,
My approach is to learn new skills on how to move forward.
yeah,
And we start by really looking at what are our values and what are our priorities, and using that as a foundation to learn how to communicate more effectively, to have more connective relationships. So, if you are a woman who experienced childhood trauma, who has struggles in relationships, struggles to trust people, deals with emotional dysregulation or getting triggered easily, this is specifically for you. And I really highly recommend that you check it out. So it's on my website. It's holisticevolutionshala.com and then slash daily calm workbook.
wonderful. Thank you ever so much. I really
Oh,
appreciate
thank
that.
you so
Thank
much.